Hey everyone, I'm Nick Dease, Film and Humanities Librarian at the Boatwright Library. In this brief tutorial, we're going to explore NotebookLM, Google's AI-powered research assistant designed to help you organize, understand, and generate insights from your sources. You can upload your own materials, and the AI will create a personalized notebook that understands your sources and helps you make connections across them. So, with that, let's dive in. So you can see here I am located at notebooklm.google.com. Now, I've already created an account here, but for you to access NotebookLM, you will need to create an active Gmail account and then log in and go to notebooklm.google.com. Once you're there, it will ask you to create a notebook. You just click on create, and then you will get an interface like we see here. Now, I'm just going to walk us through a couple of these tools and explain how they work and why they're really useful. So on the left sidebar here, we have our sources panel, and we can add individual items, things like articles, books, PDFs, etc. If I were to click on add, you can see there's an option here to upload sources directly from my computer. So if I have a PDF, an audio file, etc., I could just click on that and then find it. If I have Google Docs or Google Slides, I could just automatically link them to my NotebookLM here. If there is a web page that has plain text that maybe I want to be incorporated into my notebook, you can see I can grab a link or a YouTube video as well. I can also paste text directly into NotebookLM in order for it to be considered, which is also very helpful. Now, one thing I'll place special emphasis on, down here you can see there's a source limit. So with the free version of NotebookLM, you have a limit of 50 sources per notebook. However, you can create additional notebooks. Now, I have only added one source here, and it is Walden by Henry David Thoreau, and I grabbed it using the link feature from Project Gutenberg. So if I click on this, you can see this little handy summary, which is nice with some sub-key topics highlighted there. But if I wanted to actually look at the full text, you can see I can browse the entire full text here in NotebookLM. Now, if I click on this, it will close my source view. One other special thing when we're talking about our sources here is that we have these checkboxes. So as I continue to add additional items, whenever I use the chat function here in the middle, it will be in response to all of my sources together. But occasionally, you might just want to ask questions about one of your sources. And so there are toggle switches here or checkboxes that you can activate if you wanted to select just one source or a couple sources or maybe even all of your sources. So again, for demo purposes, I only have one thing in here. And so when I look in the middle, you can see my chat window, and it has a summary of everything. If I wanted to ask a question about Walden, I could just type it right into the ChatGPT style or Gemini style input box here. Now, for those who have read the book, in chapter 2, there is this wonderful extended metaphor involving railroads. So maybe I just don't really understand that metaphor. I'm just a little bit confused and want some extra information. So I could just ask NotebookLM, can you explain the extended metaphor about railroads in chapter 2? Now, because Walden is the only thing that we have here, when I say chapter 2, it's going to be looking for chapter 2 in Walden. But you can imagine if you have multiple sources, you would need to be very specific here. And so you can see here is my response. So chapter 2 of Walden uses the railroad as an extended and multifaceted metaphor to critique modern civilization, its perceived progress, and its profound impact on human life in the natural world. Now, one of the cool things about this nice detailed summary that is very bullet pointed and easy for me to read is that there are direct citations to the text. So if I go down here and I see he's talking about lamenting the trade-off of intellectual and spiritual wealth, if I click on this, it will show me the actual text from Walden that is relevant to this bullet point here. So this can be helpful in avoiding those situations where, because this is a large language model, it will be prone to hallucination. Sometimes it just flat out gets information wrong. But if you see this citation here, you can always just follow up on it and read it for yourself, and then make the decision. Does this make sense? Is this actually consistent with my source? That way you're not just trusting whatever the LLM threw out there willy-nilly. Now, this is one way that you can navigate the text. You can also generate a mind map, and so you just click this button right here for mind map. However, I was experimenting earlier, so you can see on the right side panel here an example of my mind map that was generated. So I can click through, like if I were really interested in economy and labor, in maybe the critique of the division of labor, or actually, let's stick with our railroad theme. So if we go down here, you can see that it's about to generate a response to that mind map selection. So asking questions using the mind map is one thing that you can do. Another really cool feature of NotebookLM is the audio podcast option. So at the top right over here under the studio panel, you'll see there's a selection here for audio overview, and it says deep dive conversation between two hosts. If I were to click on this, it would take a minute to generate a conversation between two AI hosts discussing Walden. But you can see here, I can also click on this to customize it. If I wanted a longer form conversation or a short conversation, I can adjust it accordingly. But this is a great way to generate a podcast that you can listen to perhaps in the car on the ride home, or if you're walking between buildings on campus. Now, if we scroll down even further, you can see there's options for study guide, timeline, and briefing docs and FAQs. You can see I tried to generate a couple of these just as examples. This is a timeline of the main events covered in Walden. Looks pretty good. There's also a cast of characters here with a description. So there's a lot of different people that show up in the book. If we go back to our studio selection here, you can see we also have an FAQ here. And so this is NotebookLM generating me some frequently asked questions and then providing answers, which is nice. And then down here, you can see a study guide. So it gives me a section here on the summary and the key themes of the book, a quiz, and then an answer key for that quiz in possible essay questions, and a full glossary of key terms, which can be helpful for understanding some of the language of the 1800s that might be a little bit unfamiliar to you. So this is just one quick look at NotebookLM. Obviously, the more sources you add, the better, more sophisticated kind of response you are going to get. Now, before we close out here, I just want to say NotebookLM is still evolving, but it already offers a powerful way to deepen your engagement with research materials. If you have any questions or want to explore this tool further, feel free to reach out to us at the library. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.